guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making, it's a similar type of video that I usually make, but we're getting really real. Now, I like talking about Tom Ford lipsticks as much as the next girl. However, or guy, there's some beauty products or like self-care products which you don't always talk about and aren't necessarily glamorous, but can be really great. So this video, we're not talking about fun lipstick colours or my favourite mascara. No, we're talking about deodorant and body wash. Sounds like a bit strange, but I think I would be really interested to know what things other people like that are like this. So let's kick off with those first. For mouthwash, right? Like, it sounds strange, I know, to be talking about mouthwash, but I really do like this mouthwash. It's the Dentyl Active, it's the green one. Now, because it's quite near the bottom, you can't see, but it's usually duo phase. Or it probably still is a little bit. You've got to shake it up and then you gargle as you normally do, and then when you spit it into the sink, it like shows all the gross bits that it got out between your teeth. Really gross, but really satisfying, like squeezing a spot, like that type satisfying. Anyway, and I think it is quite strong mint flavour, so if you're not into that, then fine. I think they do other flavours as well, but I personally like the green and blue one, because it's the blues at the top and the greens at the bottom usually. And yeah, I just think it makes my mouth nice and clean. One thing I did forget to grab, which is in my bathroom, whilst we're talking about teeth hygiene, is, well, it's actually tongue hygiene. It's a tongue scraper. You can get these at Boots or on Amazon and stuff. They're not that expensive, but it's about cleaning your tongue. Now, this one goes out to all my smokers out there. I'm not a smoker, but once you tune into something, you can't unsee it. And I find like particularly, not just smokers, everybody, but particularly smokers, have really gross tongues. They're all really like white. And I think it's like partly to do with diet and what you put in your body. Like, tongues are supposed to be red. They're not supposed to have like white goo on them. And oh my god, it literally turns my stomach when I see somebody with like white gooey shit all in their mouth. So I try and avoid that. I can tell you one thing actually. I have like it's not really a secret insecurity because I'm now telling the internet, but I'm really worried that I'm one of those people who has stinky breath and nobody's ever told me. And I'm just living my life with a stinky breath, and they're like, oh look, there's Alice with the stinky breath, and I would never be none the wiser. So thus I scrape my tongue and I have like a pretty intense mouthwash. But please tell me if you're one of my friends if I have smelly breath. I'm not talking about like every once in a blue moon you drank too much and something crawled and died in your mouth. We all get that. We're all human. I'm talking, you know the type of person. I don't want to be stinky breath Alice. So, and I don't think you want to be stinky breath person either. So, tongue scrapers and good mouthwash. Get on it. I also use an electric toothbrush whilst we're on dental hygiene. Just get an electric toothbrush, it's 2016. Whilst we're in the bathroom, we might as well go to body favourites. Now, I know I mentioned this in my most recent favourites, and this is kind of what sparked this, is because I'm like, this isn't that glamorous a product. However, it is very effective. This is the Aveeno body wash, and it is formulated for dry and sensitive skin, and I just think it really moisturises my skin. Most body washes don't dry out my skin personally, but you know, depending from each one to one, but this one I notice an actual difference when I use this and this alone. So if you're somebody who's either got quite dry skin and you find that body washes can dry your skin out, use this. Or if you're just lazy with moisturiser, also use this. But yeah, it's probably a little bit more expensive than a bog standard any old body wash, but it's actually a pretty, as you can see, it's as big as my head, so it will last you quite a while. And you can also get Aveeno on sale. It's a drugstore brand, so it's always going on sale, so wait for that sale. But also, with this video, I had to mention, it was obviously going to be coming up, the Nivea In Shower Body Conditioner. Now, I'm not going to stay here for too long because I talk about this probably more often than I should, but if you want to further moisturise your body and you are still really lazy, use this. It's basically like a hair conditioner, but a body conditioner. So you pop it on, you wash it off, and your skin's really soft. And again, it's Nivea. This isn't exactly the most glamorous of products, but it's really effective. And also, I do know that Lush do some as well, so if you wanted to like introduce somebody to the body conditioner game, just be like, hey, there's this one, but also after you finish with that, Nivea. It's no fuss, but effective product, so I had to mention that one. And finally, for in shower products, I have my razor. This is the Venus Mini. I don't know, you've seen this around before, and I actually use this now all year round, even when I'm at home, not even just when I'm travelling. It comes in this, obviously, container which has like a little dry out thing on the bottom, so it's not like festering in your bath, and I think this makes it a little bit more sanitary than you just having your razor perched on the side. It's in its own little container, and you can replace the head as normal. I'm not gonna show you a close-up of my razor. You know what razors look like, and you probably don't want to see my body hair sticking out of it. Let's be fucking real. It's got like, this like handle, and it's easy to hold, and as I said, I use this now all year round, and I think you can usually get these for half price for £5, and yeah, and you can interchange any heads with it, and yeah, this is the razor I use, and I rather like it. Actually, I lied, this is a product that isn't technically a shower product, but it's one that I use in the shower. It's by Biore, you know, the nose strip brand. This is their baking soda cleansing scrub, and it's a powder that you then add to water and it like foams up like baking soda. It probably is mainly baking soda in this in a fancy, more expensive bottle. However, the reason that I'm mentioning this, I mean, you could consider this a bit like unglamorous. However, I use this on my boobs. I'm just going there. It's happening. I told you this video is going to be a little bit awkward, but we're just gonna power through. I'm not gonna get back problems from my boobs. I have 34Ds if you want to get really specific. So, you know, I'm not flat chested, but you know, I'm not, you know, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm in a happy medium. However, if you're somebody who has boobs, you probably realise that you've got to dry underneath them separately, which isn't fun. And they can just like, sometimes I just feel like they need an extra clean as opposed to just body wash, and so I use a scrub. I use this scrub on like my décolleté, and it's really effective, and yeah, so this is my boob cleaner. Yeah. But yeah, it's really effective, and in the grand scheme of things not all that expensive either. This is going to last you an absolute age. But I do also use this like on my nose and on my T-zone and stuff, but yeah, I just think it's really good cleaner. Whilst we're just going all out awkward, let's carry on, shall we? Lanacane. This is a brand which deals with anti-chafing. This is their specific anti-chafing gel. I have before used like their like marathon runner stuff, which is like more of like a cream. This is more like a silicone primer. The cream is really effective, but it really smells. It like has this really like, I mean, it's not like the worst smell, but it's not pleasant either, and it kind of like lingers a bit. So if you are like running a marathon, I'd go for that one because that's more medicated than this and more heavy duty. However, they also do just plain old anti-chafing gel. I believe this is also medicated. It's definitely found in like the medicated bit in Boots and Superdrug, and it also comes in a nice smaller tube. I've been carrying this around in my bag all summer long, just in case I've been wearing a skirt or shorts and I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I think, you know, some people have thigh gaps, some people don't. I'm one of those people that doesn't, and I'm actually really comfortable with my body. So, but you know, when I am wearing like a short skirt or shorts or something and my legs start to rub together, it makes me feel a bit shit about myself. So it's gonna do that regardless. So I have this, so when my legs rub together, it's like, as I said, it's like a silicone primer, so it just makes them rub nicer together so it doesn't hurt or make you feel gross and sweaty and stuff. Anyway, this is a must-have for summer, and you know, you just don't want to feel gross about yourself, and I just think this is a product that won't make you feel as shit about yourself. So Lanacane, it's helping women everywhere. I've also got my deodorant that I want to talk about. It's Mitchum. I've got two types here. I've got Mitchum Ultimate and Mitchum Ultimate Gel. These again are a little bit more expensive than their standard range. However, I really like their Pure Fresh scent. This one here is their cream, which, oh, let me pop it up. It's just like one of those things that you twist at the bottom and out comes cream, and it's really effective. I will say that this does leave white marks. So if you're like just going to work or whatever, if you've not got like a tight top on and you're not like dragging it over your head, and so you won't get deodorant marks, this is great and it works fantastic. However, I do wear an awful lot of black and more fitted clothing, so sometimes that's not always ideal to have like white marks all up. So they have, oh hang on, let me flip this around for you. So they have actually brought out this fairly recently. This is the Mitchum Ultimate Gel, and as you can see it says on the cap, no white marks. It is like an invisible gel. I've got the unscented version. I think next time I will go for a scented one. Reason being, this is clearly very alcohol based. Although it says unscented, it means they haven't added a scent to it. It still does smell of alcohol. This is definitely not for somebody who has sensitive skin or armpits, by the way. I would say neither of these would be. They're pretty hardcore. I just don't want to be a smelly person, you know? But yeah, this one, it definitely has like some alcohol content in it, so it smells a little bit like alcohol under your armpits, which isn't the most ideal, but you know, it stops me from sweating, and yeah, I think next time I will go for the scented version and see what that's like. From what I saw, they didn't have the pure fresh version, so that's why I just went for the unscented. But this, again, is a very similar concept that you twist at the bottom and out comes the top. So yeah, these two, I'd recommend both of them depending on what your needs are, but they're both good for what they do. And last but not least, I know I've mentioned this before on my channel, it's Biafine Emulsion. This stuff is like a French pharmacy miracle. Basically, you have any ailment, like vague, I mean not like broken bones or anything obviously, but if you have like a vague ailment on your skin, like whether you have a new tattoo or a new piercing or sunburn, this, my friend, will sort that right out for you. I have the same tube that I've had for quite a while. It's pretty beat up. And all those things I've mentioned, I have used this on, and it has helped the healing process of all those things. It's just really kind to skin. So if you've got like, I don't know, cuts or grazes or whatever, this will be fantastic. And as I said, for sunburn, but yeah, this is the type of thing that I always just have on hand for any skin ailment or for anybody else. It's just fantastic. Honestly, this stuff is really not that expensive. You can get it online. I haven't ever seen it sold in shops in the UK, but I purchased this online, no problem. And I would literally highly recommend every household having a tube of this around, because it just it's a skin helper. It's a healer, a beautiful healer. And yeah, I'd recommend it. Do you have a favourite cotton round, I hear you cry? The answer is yes. These are the Dentyl Plus exfoliating cotton rounds. You can get these at Costco, that's where I get them in bulk, and they're exfoliating cotton rounds which, once you use these, you never go back. And it seems a bit weird spending a tenner on like 10 rolls of this at once, but honestly, I have these on hand all the time. These are the best cotton rounds I have ever used, and they just make life easier. They take your makeup off quicker, they exfoliate your skin without being rough or gross just by you using them on your skin. I use them to exfoliate my lips. Exfoliating cotton rounds, you need to get on it, because you will never see cotton rounds the same again. These ones, bad boys. And finally, I suppose you could argue this is pretty personal, but why not? Due to the contraception that I use, I do not have periods. So I can 100% recommend sanitary products. However, I will say that when I did used to get my period, I would love Tampax pearls. They were the best tampon in the world. Anyway, so what a note to end on, eh? Anyway, I hope that you're all not red-faced. I don't think I am. I just think we needed to have a real frank chat. So those are all the probably, I'm not embarrassed, but less glamorous products that I use, and I think you should do too. But yeah, anyway, if you have any favourite things like this that would fit into this category, please leave a comment down below. I'm always here for recommendations. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't. I've got all my social medias linked down below if you want to hear more musings from myself. And yeah, anyway, I shall see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!